We're always told that stress and anxiety are bad things, weaknesses we need to get rid of. But what if that's totally wrong? Today, we're going to explore a completely different way to look at it, how to turn what feels like a heavy burden into your greatest source of power. Oh, you know the feeling, right? You've got a huge deadline coming up, or maybe there's a tough conversation you've been putting off. And just like that, boom, your mind is just a swirling mess of anxiety and what ifs. It's like an internal storm, and it feels like it's taking over everything. And what happens when that storm hits? You feel trapped, completely stuck. It really does feel like you're in a cage. You're just paralyzed by all that pressure. You can't think straight, can't move forward. The feeling itself becomes the prison. Okay, but hang on a second. Let's just challenge that idea. What if that feeling isn't a cage? What if we've just been looking at it all wrong this entire time?
Yeah, what if that surge of energy, that whole internal storm, could actually be a weapon? A seriously powerful tool that doesn't stop you, but instead acts as a signal that you're about to grow and actually pushes you forward.
So, this is the whole point, right here. It all comes down to a choice. Do you see all that internal pressure as a cage that's holding you back, or do you see it as a weapon you can actually learn to use? Your perspective, how you see it, that's everything. And the best part is you can change it in an instant. Look, most of us, our default setting is the cage mindset. It's driven by fear, and it just shuts us down. But the weapon mindset, man, it just flips the whole thing on its head. It takes that exact same energy and interprets it as a sign that you're pushing your limits, that you're on the edge of something important. It becomes energizing, a signal to take action. And this gets to the absolute core of it. That feeling we call stress, it's really just a surge of energy. It's adrenaline. And that energy is neutral. The fuel itself isn't the problem, it's the story we're telling ourselves about the fuel. It's all that mental pressure that turns what could be power into panic. So how do we actually do this? How do we make that shift when we're right in the middle of feeling overwhelmed? It's not just about thinking happy thoughts. You need a plan. So let's break down a super practical 3-step process you can use to really master that storm. Okay, step 1. This is the foundation for absolutely everything else. It might sound way too simple, but trust me, it's the most powerful thing you can do to get back in the driver's seat when you feel that overwhelm kicking in. We call it the power of the pause. The second you feel that wave of anxiety or overthinking starting to crash down, you have to hit the brakes. And I mean that literally. You physically and mentally just stop whatever you're doing, even if it's just for a couple of seconds. Think of this pause as your mental reset button. It creates just enough space to break that spiraling cycle. In that tiny moment of stillness, you can recognize, okay, I'm feeling a lot of pressure, but I don't have to be controlled by it. It gives you back the choice of what to do next. All right, so you've hit pause, you've created a little bit of breathing room, now you're ready for step 2. This is where you intentionally change the rules of the game you're playing inside your own head. Step 2 is all about resetting your expectations. So much of our anxiety comes from this thing called the perfection trap. This idea we have that things are supposed to go smoothly without any of this internal friction or discomfort. But let's be real. Real mastery isn't about having a life without storms. It's about getting really, really good at sailing right through them. When you reset your expectations, you stop being afraid of that discomfort. You start to see it for what it is, a sign that you're actually doing something that matters. And that brings us to the final, and I think the most transformative step. You've paused. You've reset your expectations. Now it's time for the real magic. This is where you take all of that raw energy and you put it to work for you. You're literally going to use your emotions as an engine. Think about the physical feelings of stress for a second. Your heart beats a little faster, your senses are a little sharper. Instead of fighting that, you're going to channel it. Funnel all that energy right into the task in front of you. What you're feeling is adrenaline. That's it. It's your body's natural fuel. So if you're nervous before a big presentation, great. Use that energy to be more passionate, more intense in your delivery. You're actually transforming what could be a paralyzing force into pure fuel for focused action. So let's bring it all home. Managing your mind, this isn't some gift you're born with. No way. It's a skill. And just like any other skill, the more you practice it, the stronger you get and the more it becomes second nature. So the next time you feel that internal storm start to brew, just remember the plan. First, use the power of the pause to create some space. Second, reset your expectations. Remember that discomfort is part of the game. And third, let those emotions become the engine that drives you forward. Because really, it all comes down to a simple choice. You can let that storm toss you around, or you can learn to grab the wheel and harness its power. The only question is, which one are you going to choose? Manage your mind before it manages you.